You ever get to the end of a really long workday, you look back and you just feel empty? I mean, you were busy, right? You were answering messages, you were in meetings, but you didn't actually move the needle on a single thing that truly mattered. If that sounds familiar, listen up. It's not because you lack discipline or stamina. It's because you're using the wrong operating system for your brain. And that old system is based on a huge misunderstanding of how our minds are actually designed to work.
And that right there is the entire problem. We treat our minds like these old industrial machines built for a steady, monotonous grind. We think more hours in the chair automatically equals more value. But your brain isn't a factory assembly line. It's a high-performance biological engine. And trying to run it in one gear all day long, that's just the fastest way to redline it until it completely breaks down.
So this is the crucial difference. On one hand, you have the industrial age marathon. That's the model we were all taught, right? The idea that sustained effort over these long periods is the secret to success. But chronobiology, which is the science of our body's natural rhythms, tells a completely different story. It shows us that our brains are built for intense sprints of deep focus, followed by periods of real recovery. We're talking about pulses, not a flat line of effort. The goal isn't more time, it's more depth.
Now, this feeling of being stuck, of being busy but not productive, it actually has a name. It's a specific state that most of us are trapped in without even realizing it. So let's identify these invisible barriers, because once you can see them, you can start to dismantle them.
Welcome to the gray zone. This is basically the default state for the modern professional. You know what I'm talking about. It's trying to write a report while keeping one eye on your email. It's taking a break by scrolling through your phone. You're never fully on for your deep work, and you're never fully off to actually recover. You just exist, somewhere in the middle, all day long.
And this is the result. This is the real cost of living in the gray zone. It's that sinking feeling you get around 4 p.m. when you realize your entire day was just spent putting out little fires and reacting to things, while your most important, high-value work is still just sitting there untouched. Honestly, it's a perfect recipe for burnout and stagnation. And there's a real biological cost to this. Every single time you micro-switch your attention from your document to a Slack notification and back again, you pay what's called a switching tax. Your prefrontal cortex has to burn a huge amount of metabolic resources just to reload the context of what you were doing. This tax is literally bankrupting your focus one tiny switch at a time. And that switching tax leaves behind this toxic byproduct. We call it attention residue. See, even after you switch back to your main task, part of your brain is still thinking about that last email or that text message. This residue fragments your focus and creates this thick cognitive smog that just clouds your judgment and absolutely murders any chance of creative insight. It's like trying to drive a Ferrari through a fog that you created yourself. So, if the gray zone is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's not some new productivity app or a fancy time management hack. The solution is literally baked into your biology. It's this fundamental rhythm that, once you learn to work with it, changes everything. Okay, the first number you need to remember is 90. Research shows that for about 90 minutes, your brain can operate in a state of high-intensity focus. This is your peak performance window. This is the wave you need to catch. And the second number is 20, because right after that 90-minute wave of peak focus, your brain requires about 20 minutes for mandatory recovery. And this isn't just a suggestion, it's a biological necessity. Ignoring it is like a sprinter trying to run another race without ever catching their breath. It just doesn't work. So this is the science behind those numbers. It's called Ultradian rhythms. You've heard of our 24-hour circadian rhythm for sleep, right? Well, these are shorter, oscillating cycles of energy that happen all day long. The key is to stop fighting this natural pulse and pause rhythm and start designing your workday around it. The best way to think about it is like a muscle. Step 1, the pulse, is a focused contraction, an intense period where all your energy is directed at one single point. And then step 2, the pause, is for sensory recovery, a metabolic break where the muscle relaxes, clears out waste, and gets ready for the next contraction. Both are equally important for performance. Okay, so how do we actually put this into practice? Well, there's a system for it. It's called the macro-micro protocol, and it's a method for engineering your day to align with your brain's natural rhythm to maximize your neural throughput. The protocol is built on 3 really distinct layers. First, you've got the 90-minute macro sprint. That's your deep work session. Second, the 20-minute micro reset, your non-negotiable recovery period. And third, the gear shift trigger, which is a little ritual that tells your brain it's time to switch between these two states.
All right, let's break down the macro sprint. This is not multitasking time. You pick one single, high-complexity task. Your phone is in another room, notifications are off. You have only one browser tab open. Your job is to contract your attention into a laser. For these 90 minutes, the world outside this one task completely ceases to exist. Now for the micro reset. And this is critical because this is where almost everybody gets it wrong. A reset is not scrolling Instagram or checking the news. It is a total sensory zero shutdown. That means no screens, no reading, no podcasts, nothing that requires processing new information. This is what allows your brain to flush out all that metabolic waste, consolidate what you just learned, and actually recharge for the next sprint.
And finally, the gear shift trigger. This is how you make the switch between states totally effortless. It's a ritual. It could be putting on specific noise-canceling headphones, or changing the lighting at your desk, or even playing a certain song. It's a physical or sensory anchor that trains your brain, signaling that it's time to either go deep or enter total recovery. You're engineering the state, not just hoping it happens.
So why does this whole protocol feel so powerful when you do it? Well, it's not just a nice idea. It's grounded in the fundamental neurochemistry of how our brains actually perform at their absolute peak. Okay, so during that 90-minute macro sprint, your brain floods your neural circuits with a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Think of this chemical like a spotlight. It narrows your focus and makes distractions literally harder to even perceive. But it's a finite resource. The micro reset is when your brain gets to replenish those chemicals and clear out all the metabolic gunk, like adenosine, that makes you feel mentally tired. You're working with your brain chemistry, not against it. And this chart just perfectly illustrates the long-term benefit. That steady grind approach keeps your body in a state of chronic stress, constantly pumping out high levels of the stress hormone cortisol. But working in rhythmic pulses, intense focus, followed by real rest, has been shown to significantly lower your overall cortisol levels. So you're not just more productive, you're actually healthier and way more resilient.
Look, this all sounds great in theory, but the real power comes from actually applying it. So how can you take this concept and put it into action, like right now, today? Here are 4 simple steps for your very first cycle. 1. Set a timer for 90 minutes and treat it like a law of nature. When it goes off, you stop, period. 2. For the next 20 minutes, do a true sensory zero reset. Go for a walk, do some stretches, or just stare out the window. Absolutely no screens. 3. Use environment priming. Maybe turn on a specific lamp that you only use for deep work. And 4. Change your mindset. That 20-minute pause isn't lost time. It's the most productive thing you can do to prepare for the next sprint. The goal here is the depth of your recovery, not just the length of your work.
Ultimately, this all comes down to one core shift in how you think. You have to stop chasing this myth of a constant, steady plateau of high performance. It doesn't exist. Elite, sustainable productivity is and always will be a pulse. It's the rhythm between total effort and total rest.
So here's the challenge. Don't try to overhaul your entire week. Just try one. Execute a single perfect 90-20 cycle. Shut off the world, find your highest gear for 90 minutes, and then have the discipline to shift out of it completely for 20. Master the rhythm, and I promise you, you will find your output becomes an unstoppable force.